Doodle-doodle-doo. All right. In theory, it's still going slow. What's going on around there? All right. Is there? We see it. It sees me. Let's get that out of the way as we can. Hi. Welcome to... What the heck is this video setting? It's the live taping of Podcast Pontifications, and I did some tweaking to the settings. I don't really like them. What are you going to do? The video is not great. Mine is Evo Terra, by the way. You're about to watch the live behind-the-scenes taping of Podcast Pontifications, and I just look strange, don't I? Let's try and cycle through some things. We're going to talk about showcasing the best episodes of your podcast today, but I don't think I can do it looking like that. What happens if I do that? Oh, that's going down. We don't want to have that. That's lower intensity. Let's increase this. Now This is comical. Oh, my goodness. There's that. And that's wonderful. Yeah, let's do that. All these are bad choices. All of these are terrible, terrible choices. Is it these? What if I get rid of that? I'm going to get rid of that. That's somewhat better. Oh, my goodness. Thanks for hanging out with me while I figure out these video things. As it turns out, I'm not a video guy. I'm an audio guy. I really think I need to invest in some decent lights and a decent camera. And this little Logitech camera is fine for doing a webcam. And these little lights I have, I guess, are okay. But I think I could make it better if I did a little upgrade. So maybe in my long winter's nap, which is coming up in a few weeks, I'll invest in some better quality stuff. Who knows? As mentioned, we're going to talk about showcasing the best episodes of your podcast, an idea I've been flirting around with for a while. Thanks to some new developments in the podosphere. It seems to be present and top of mind for some people, so we'll talk about that. If you are just now tuning in, you never heard of me before, I've been podcasting for a very long time, and I do this show every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the idea behind Podcast Pontifications is to give you things to think about. As an active working podcaster, someone serious about podcasting, plenty of how-to shows out there. This is not a how-to show. This gives you some things to think about, like this, thinking about showcasing the best episodes of your podcast. And I'm going to do that in about another minute or two, but my throat has been very phlegmy already this morning, so I'm trying to get most of that out. I'm drinking ginger. Not ginger tea, just ginger, granulated ginger in a bag, and that will help cut down some of that as well. Also, I've got a meeting with my cardiologist today for a stress test. No, there's nothing wrong with me, just a 53-year-old heart murmur. I also am 53, so it's just, new guy wants to look inside, make sure that's going okay. Should be. I have zero symptoms whatsoever. Just something to do. And because of that stress test, they say, no caffeine for, what's it say? What's this? No caffeine. Oh, yeah, here it is. Caffeine. No coffee, tea, decaffeinated drinks, colas, or chocolate within 24 hours before tests. 12 hours. I might have had some chocolate last night. Whatever. What they don't know won't hurt them. Again, I'm fine. We'll be doing that. So that's why that's in there. That's at noon today, or actually 1 o'clock. So I'll be starved because I haven't eaten since last night, and I won't eat before the test. So that's going to be great. Yay. Anyhow, so such is life on that over here. Let's see what's happening here on the streams. I think things are working okay. They look like they're going fine. I'm going to read out that cold open so I can actually begin the show. And, of course, all of this stuff that you're hearing right now will be cut out before it makes it to the final podcast, because no one needs to hear all this kind of garbage. Whoa, let's do that a different way, Evo. Let's shrink it before you drag it, shall we? Yeah, that works so much better. So much better. All right, here's that cold open. Bump. You can't judge a book by its cover, but our podcasts are judged by a single episode, our most recent. What is that? It'd be. That's what it'd be. That it'd. Right. It did. There we go. You can't judge a book by its cover, but our podcasts are judged by a single episode, our most recent. It'd be better if we were judged by a collection of our best episodes. But how would we do that? That's what I'm going to say. All right, here we go. I'm ready to record. If you guys are ready to hear me. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't fire up QuickTime. I was too busy messing with this video, which is the bane of my existence. And I didn't put my new audio recording. There it is. Looking nice. Looking fine. We're A-OK over there. Check one more thing over here. I'm going to refresh this to make sure things are looking the way I think they should be looking. And, in fact, they are. It just looks dumb because of this lighting situation. All right. First world problems, man. More people read your newsletter than listen to your podcast than listen to your videos or watch your videos. So it goes on down. So I'm not all that upset by things. All right. Here we go. You can't judge a book by its cover, but our podcasts are judged by a single episode, our most recent. It'd be better if we were judged by a collection of our best episodes. But how would we do that? Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. If you wanted to figure out your most popular episodes, how would you go about doing that? Now, you might be wondering why this is important, and it's important for a number of reasons, I think. First is just putting your best foot forward, I should say, for brand new listeners. Podcasting's reliance on reverse chronological order listing of our episodes means that the newest episode is the episode that is heard most often by brand new people. And that may not be your best episode. Heck, it might not even be an episode that is indicative of what a good episode for your podcast is. Or even, it might even not even be an episode of your podcast at all. If you knew which episodes were most popular for your listeners, you'd have a nice Start Here collection to brand new listeners. That'd be cool. Another idea would be assembling a collection to submit to awards competitions. Doing it with the single episode isn't great. And even if you are creating a customized or curating out your single episode that samples from other episodes of your show, it's not a good way to tell whether your podcast is good, bad, or indifferent, right? It's just not the right feel. However, if you had a collection of episodes, I don't know, say 3 episodes, 5 episodes, 10 episodes, whatever, that you could then submit that group to the awards committee, they in turn could make a much more informed decision on whether your podcast is, the whole podcast is worthy of an award or not. That also might encourage some innovation with the podcast listening apps out there. Just think how popular best of or greatest hits collections are for music. We could do the same thing for podcasts, really. We could go through, figure out which are the best episodes, and then give them to a brand new listener. That new listener then listens to your best of collection. And here's the cool part. When they get to the end of the best of collection, if they get all the way to the end, then their subscription automatically switches over to the main show feed. And they start picking up new episodes right away because now they're in. They went through all, they're invested. That'd be kind of cool. But back to my question. How would you go about doing that? Would you base it on downloads? Well, I suppose that's a start. I think we put way too much emphasis on downloads, and a goodly number of those downloads are automated, so I'm skeptical. But still, it's a start. And, in fact, earlier this week I heard that some of the more forward-thinking podcast hosting companies are in early discussions to collect this information, with obviously the podcaster's permission, clearly, But then somehow take that information of what the best of this feed is and then mark that episode inside of the RSS feed, which would in turn allow aggregators, so think directories or apps, to actually do something with those marked episodes, put them further up, highlight them in some way. Now, of course, speaking of apps, they actually have better data than your podcast hosting company. They actually have play data, backup data, rewind, skip data, all of that stuff. So perhaps forward-thinking apps could use their own internal data and blend it with this information that these hosting companies are thinking of providing. But also, what about external factors for popularity of a podcast episode? Maybe like quantity of shares across social media? That's doable, but it's rather processor intensive. So this might be a service that an existing social monitoring service could offer to podcasters. Though it's going to be a challenge to associate the various links that get shared, right? A link to your page, a link to the media file for that episode. Is it a player-created link? Is it a deep link to a directory that someone is actually sharing? Those would need to be normalized and rolled up together. I wonder what I missed. I know I missed a few ways we might figure out what is good and popular for a podcast. If you have ideas on that, please shoot me an email. I'm evo@simpler.media and let me know. If you're a podcast service provider, I'd love to know whether what you would do with this data, how you could contribute to it, or also what you would do with it. If you knew what was most popular out of a podcast, what would you do with that information that would make your service better? No Boostergram Corner today, but you can change that for tomorrow and going forward by going to podcastpontifications.com/value for value and choosing from any of the many options I have listed on that page. Probably too many options. Maybe there's a business opportunity there. Maybe someone could build a better ways you can support the podcaster plugin page, something along that line, for podcasters to utilize. Anyhow, in the meantime, at that page I do have, which is way too busy, at podcastpontifications.com/value for value, you can use Venmo, buymeacoffee.com, and many other ways for you to provide some value back to me for the value of the content you receive from me. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast. Pontifications. Cheers. Stop that recording. Stop that recording. Cough into the microphone. Clear your throat. Well, there we go. That would be the end of the program. Hi, Betty. If you did just now joining, if you just now are joining the podcast, you missed the live stream. Well, you could go back up in time, 13 minutes and 22 seconds if you wanted to, or just go to podcastpontifications.com, because that's where this episode, the audio, yes, there's an R in that word now, the audio file and the article that I'm going to rewrite, both those will be published at 10 a.m. on podcastpontifications.com. Do yourself a favor. Go to podcastpontifications.com. Click that subscribe button. Won't cost you a dime. But what will happen is you will get an email notification. More than just a notification. You will get an email that contains the article for every word I just said. I'm going to take the machine transcript and rewrite it so that it sounds like something I wrote as opposed to something that I narrated. I'll rewrite that. That's the article. I'm going to email that to every single person who was subscribed at podcastpontifications.com. Can't get it through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Cast. None of those things will let you do this yet. That'd be kind of neat. So you got to go to podcastpontifications.com and put your email address in. The only thing you will ever get from me are those articles. I don't sell this information. It's not rented out because that's all douchey stuff that I do not do. But you will never, ever, ever miss an episode. It may pile up in your inbox, but it'll be right there, that article, and also a link to the MP3 file. So it's a very handy way for you to keep an archive of all of the things. And seriously, if you have any ideas on how we figured out what's best, what are the most popular podcast episodes that we have, I'd love to hear about them. evo@simpler.media. Contact with me on the social medias. You know where I'm at. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to drink more of this ginger, clean the throat out. I'm going to walk on a treadmill while a doctor keeps an eye on my mitral valve, again, I'm fine. It's just, having a 53-year-old heart murmur means it needs to be checked on a regular basis. And so we're doing that checkup today. So have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye.